security is number one priority. If we have any personal data leakage, it can result with a stopping of license.
To ensure that the original owners of the data don't have that data at risk.
We're decentralizing what we do. All the computing are decentralized.
You can prove that it maps to the requirements on the regulators.
We have an opportunity to create value only because we found a technical solution to collaborate our data.
Just reduce your attack surface enormously. Hi, today I'm really happy to welcome Alisher Bigzayev, or Al, I believe, onto Confidentially Yours. It's really good to have you. How are you doing, Alisher?
Absolutely great. Thank you so much for the invitation. It's a great pleasure to meet you, Mike. Hello.
Good, excellent. So the first thing I always like to do is to just find out a bit about my guest. And your journey. So first of all, where are you now? What do you do? What's your title? All that sort of stuff. But also tell me a bit about how you got here, because I always think it's interesting to plot people's routes to where they've ended up. So yeah, please tell me a bit about you.
Thank you so much, Mike. Now I'm the head of enterprise messaging, advertising, and data solutions in Beeline, Kazakhstan, which is the biggest telco operator, local telco operator. We are the part of Veon group of companies, which is Pakistani, Bangladesh, and other telco operators in the group. My career path is such a story, I think, because I had half of experience in HR and now half of experience in big data in IT. My first experience was when I started in HR consulting company in Kazakhstan as a T&D intern, training and development intern. That company was the partner of McKinsey Group. So I gained my base experience there. I gained my project management experience there because I developed to HR project manager position. And after becoming a chief human resources officer at age of 25 in a huge company in Kazakhstan, I started to realize that HR is not my path, not my way, because the loop of feedback of my personal results was too far from me, and I'm the guy who love to see the results clearer, closer, and to be more in field than in some processes or something like that. So XHR now in big data, managing portfolio of 36 products, including some confidential computing products.
Oh, excellent. We'll get to that, definitely. So, Al, where do you kind of see yourself on the spectrum between, techie or not particularly techie? Because some people see themselves one end and other people see the other end, or some in the middle. Where are you, do you think?
I think I'm a natural born techie guy. My both parents are physicians and engineers. So I built my first PC when I was 3 years old. I overclocked and won some contest of overclocking PC when I was 7 years old. When I just started my path in HR consulting group, I self-taught. I taught myself some front-end skills, for example, HTML5, JavaScript. So I developed landing pages, some front-end calculators, etc. I have both knowledge in hardware and software, but I think I have nowadays, because of my experience in Beeline, Kazakhstan, because of my experience working with a self-service product, I have like about 50% of experience in hardware and software. That's yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So, what's your main role at Beeline, and what do you think is going to be interesting to talk about? Because I like to get people excited about the things they want to talk about. So yeah, tell me a bit about what you do at Beeline and how it fits into what might be interesting here.
My main role is to decide on strategy, to decide on technical roadmap and product roadmap of big data advertising products, and of course to build these products and support them in the future. For example, all of our products portfolio are concludes fintech and tech products, which are based on big data, of course, data-driven products. So, for example, we need to build some ML, like machine learning model, for
Yep.
bank to have to score people when you're giving loans. It's one of the products in my portfolio, and it's a very simple example. So I manage all of the processes in building, customer development, feedback, support, um, all of our technical solutions. Yeah.
Okay, so that sounds like quite a broad portfolio. Is it, are there lots of customer focused, partner focused, internal focused, or a mix of those?
It's a mix of those. Of course, I am the guy to know how to make products that will earn money, that will make money on data, first of all.
Okay.
And uh, I think my main role nowadays to manage how to monetize such an innovative product. For example, we build uh, first stable ID, which is the identificator that you use to target audiences in ad networks. Uh, that is the first case in Kazakhstan somebody built it. So my main role is to make innovative products locally and to then implement them in our and international clients.
So that's the product you just talked about. Uh, that is aimed at allowing your company, to find customers, or is it about helping partners find customers, or is it a combination?
First of all, it is business. So we are not the internal data team that are working on CVM or value proposition things. We
Sure.
are we are working directly to the market with partners and with clients. So our main goal is to make ad campaigns or using or our analytics, make optimization or make the budgets lower or make the performance higher. Depends on what is the goal of the exact customer or client.
And presumably, whatever the goal of that customer or client is, security is going to be important, right? So, where does security sit in your list of priorities generally?
Number one priority.
Okay, right,
Security
that's
is
good.
number one priority. Yeah. Let me tell you why. We are the telco operator. We are the license business. If we'll have For example, we would be a big tech company, Google or somebody else in Kazakhstan. If we have a leakage of personal data, then big tech company will need to pay something like $800 to $1,000 of fee for this. But telco
Sure.
operator, if we have any personal data leakage, it can result with a stopping of license of
Okay, so
yeah.
really major consequences. It isn't just a
Really, yeah,
fine, there's big
absolutely.
regulatory issues. Okay, so when we talk security, we're really talking about privacy here. Is a large part of it. It means maintaining the privacy. Okay, and you're working with partners as well. And so leakage isn't just out to some hackers, right? Presumably, you need to be protecting customers' data, or partners' data from each other as well, and your data from theirs as well. So how does that? This is a kind of a mutually distrusting environment. How do you think about managing that sort of world?
We were working on a solution for several years, and last 2 or 3 years, we're using trusted execution environment-based technology to, of
So
course,
confidential
collaborate.
computing.
Of
Yeah.
course, absolutely confidential computing.
Yeah.
To not only collaborate our data with our partners, but um, for example, to build some custom models for our end customers too.
Okay, so just for people who may not know too much about confidential computing or trusted execution environments, sometimes called TEs, basically it's hardware-based controls which isolate applications and their data from the rest of the system, including you guys who can't look inside, presumably, yeah? Okay, so that means that you can work on data, or app or ML or AI can work on data without it being exfiltrated and without people being able to change it as well, right? So the integrity and the confidentiality and the privacy all maintained by that. And what does that allow you to do? What does that allow you to do that you couldn't do before? Is it about speed? Is it about security? Is it about controls, regulators? Where are the big wins for you in terms of that?
I think it's every this point combined. First of all, it opened a way for us to build products that we n- never, that we didn't, that we couldn't build before having any cloud computing. For example, we have data collaboration platform that are allowing us to have um, cloud, online, real time modeling. Um, for example, Beeline Kazakhstan collaborated data with First Credit Bureau, which is a biggest financial um, data hub in Kazakhstan. It is absolutely system player that works with every bank, every microfinancial organization, everybody. Yeah, so major player. Of course, the information security, the security of personal data requirements on bureau side is higher than the sky. So we need, yeah. uh, So basically, we had an idea to build a model which we called closed circle scoring or graph scoring, which is
And so when
basically,
we say model, this is an AI or ML model, right? Or
yeah,
is
absolutely.
it? Yeah. Okay.
It's an
Right.
ML model,
Sorry.
yeah, graph ML model. Um, for example, I have a special thesaurus for you, special word for you, which is lone virgin. Uh, so
Okay.
if you're working with lone virgin, you basically uh, don't know any information about this guy. You don't have any score point to the to this exact um, people, to this exact man, human. So when we using telco data, when we using the first credit bureau data and collaborate them, we can basically tell me who are you, and tell me who are your friends, and then we can tell who are you. After having information, for example, we have a close circle contact group in Beeline Kazakhstan data. After that, we will enrich it with the data of scoring and all of the credit history, loan history of the close circle of this loan virgin or credit virgin. And after that, we have base information about will it default, how high are risks when you first giving loan to this exact person. So the cloud computing allowed us to build this model, collaborating data between those two very delicate, very strong, secured organizations such as Beeline Kazakhstan and First Credit Bureau. It was built only on data collaboration platform.
And this is the sort of thing which gives people nightmares, and I think I can see why. But this because they're worried that all this credit data from the financial folks is going to be shared with the telcos. That feels like a terrible thing, but you're not actually sharing it, are you?
Absolutely.
Because you're operating on it, you never get to see it, and they never get to see the circle of friends data, for instance. It's just you be able to combine that data without it ever leaking. And so some of those concerns that we're worried about go away, because not only is it isolated, but you can prove it's isolated, right? Confidential computing gives you that capability to create those proofs. Can you tell me a little bit about how you make those proofs, and do you provide them to a regulator or internally or your auditors? How does that work?
We had about 6 or 7 infosec checks only from credit bureau. It doesn't include all of the information security and personal data security checks that we have internally.
Right.
Overall, we went through 20 or 20 plus huge testing programs. So the main point that data never leaves the original site. And our personal data security law works not like GDPR, but it's a bit like GDPR. So, but of course, it is softer than, for example, European Union version of this.
Sure.
We needed to firstly prove that data never left the original site. We needed to prove that we have a trust execution environment, which is clean room, enclave, call it how you like. That
Okay, so a virtual data clean room, basically.
absolutely, yeah, virtual
Right.
data clean
Okay.
room and access having only two exact machines or to because of the smart contracts that was built in these machines from the beginning. The technology by itself are helping us to provide full law enforcement, or how to say it, full law. That was the only technology that provided us to follow the rules, follow the laws, or our actual laws. Yeah.
Sure. So this technology, you can prove that it maps to the requirements on the regulators and all equivalent laws. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so
that's
I
right.
want to take you back because you said an interesting phrase there, which we haven't talked about before, which was smart contracts. So smart contracts are to do with blockchain, but we haven't talked about blockchain. I mean, maybe they could be used elsewhere. Maybe you can tell me a bit more about how all these fit in, because there's an interesting thing going on there, I think.
Of course, I'm not the smart contract expert, but I'm myself a crypto enthusiast a bit. I started invested in crypto, I think, 10 years ago. Huge interest in that. I was building. I used to have some farms when back in
Oh,
times, like 10 years ago. Yeah,
okay, crypto
it
mining
was.
farms, right?
Yeah. It was my like pet project for myself.
Yeah.
So how works the technology that we have? I don't know. Can I tell openly the names? We have the Intel SGX second generation instructions on our processors,
Yep.
and we are using only Intel Xeon starting from the 10th generation and higher, because only
Yep.
10th and higher generation will have second SGX on board from the beginning. And some times ago, about 7 years ago, Intel even had these SGX technologies on consumer CPUs.
I know that's where
Yeah,
it came from originally. So they
yeah,
moved into the hardware
absolutely.
side, but
Yes,
it's now
yes,
very much hardware capabilities. Right. Okay.
absolutely. Yeah. So the smart contract, the hash, the key, are built entirely on the factory, on the Intel factory. The main key are only available to processor itself, to the core by itself. So when we are building the trust execution environment between two independent servers in two independent companies, we can match them by this smart contract. Yeah,
Security is important, right? We've confidentiality. Okay, so but you're using smart contracts in conjunction with confidential computing, so that the keys for the particular system can be matched, but they can work with each other.
absolutely. Yeah, of course. That is one of the main points of connecting two systems.
Excellent. You've also just talked about two different systems, presumably possibly in different places. So are you decentralizing what you're doing? Is that part of what you're doing as well, or is it all centralized in a particular place?
We're decentralizing what we're doing because every part of our open ecosystem, the project that we build in Kazakhstan, which of course the project by itself, when we're collaborating data, for example, of nowadays it's Magnum Cash and Carry, the biggest modern trade retailer in Kazakhstan, Beeline
Okay.
Kazakhstan, the biggest telco, and First Credit Bureau, the biggest financial data hub. Every player has got their own software that were implemented
Uh-huh.
on their machine, so that all the computing are decentralized. We do not have any shared machine or something like that.
Okay, so that allows you to have a better trust model because people know that the bits that they're managing are their pieces. Okay. And you use the smart contracts to ensure that they're all speaking to each other and that they're not someone isn't spoofing or trying to pretend to be Magnum or pretend to be you or pretend to be First Credit. Okay, so it all kind of comes together. You just mentioned retail there for the first time. Tell me a bit more about how this works in the retail world.
Actually, it was all of the idea of two smart, very intelligent, high professional people that I need to mention for just for myself.
Sure.
Nikolai Arlov and Andrei Lebedev. Andrei Lebedev is a chief data officer and chief digital transformation officer of Magnum Cash and Carry, and Nikolai is enterprise messaging, advertising, and data solutions director in Kazakhstan. So he is my direct chief, and I'm a bit biased. Sorry.
Fair
They
enough.
yeah, they had a dream to provide FMCG brand owners with very
What's FMCG? We must remember not to use terms that people may not know. So,
Oh,
FMCG.
okay. That is the items that you can buy on every nearby store. Like, e- for example, your Coca-Cola, your napkin, or
So I
anything like
believe
that.
it stands for fast-moving consumer products, stuff that is easy
Absolutely.
to
Yeah.
pick up anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Fast-moving consumer products. Absolutely.
excellent. I have to look it up. Don't worry, I can't remember these things. That's fine. Okay, so they had this vision about FMCG.
Yeah, because FMCG in Kazakhstan or basically worldwide are more using huge media campaigns to have communication with their targeted audience. But all of the huge campaigns, they have brands that have very targeted, very specific audience. For example, maybe you have a brand of diapers, so you want to show your ads only to mothers of very young children. So um, of of course, mm, Google, Meta, TikTok have enormous great targets, the parameters that you can target on your audience. But the fact knowledge that your audience, for example, having kids of exact age, or
Yep.
this audience are buying in Magnum Cash and Carry in 200 stores in Kazakhstan. These diapers are much better, much precise, and you can we of course measured the effectiveness of our campaigns on our data using sales leads, and the least resultative campaign had more than 4% of increase in brand sales from period to period. So it's not a theory for us. It's a real case, real world, absolutely working actual example. We built a customer data platform, which is user interface for our partners and brand owners. For example, today, PepsiCo, which is public, we had a news big announcement about our partnership. PepsiCo using our decentralized cloud computing customer data platform that is an interface to build these segments to these audiences using Magnum Credit Bureau and Beeline targets, which is our one of the biggest our clients for today, and one of the clients that I can speak publicly about.
And so you talked there about knowledge of where people are buying and things like that. Presumably, telcos have very specific information about the about geolocation, right? Whereas Magnum will have specific information about, I don't know, buying habits, and then the credit data folks will have information about the spending capabilities and finance. So, what I think you're saying is you're combining all of that together using confidential computing in such a way that nobody can get at the raw data that they shouldn't be able to get at. But you're generating value. Basically, you're generating valuable data which can then be sold or shared in whatever way two partners like in this case PepsiCo. Have I got that pretty much right?
Absolutely. Um, we are we have an opportunity to create value only because we found a technical solution to collaborate our data. Without cloud computing, this case never be a point of discussion.
Okay, and is are you only using confidential computing for multi-party use cases, or are there use cases for Beeline internally as well?
We have a great strategy of building our own financial ecosystem. And of course, we have a Napoleon plans of using collaborative data, not only for our partners, banks, clients, etc. on the market, but of course to build better.
What type of risks are you using confidential computing to protect against, particularly for internal threats? Is it relevant in that context?
Mm, could you please bring some examples?
Yeah, so we hear a lot about insider threats, right? Maybe people stealing data
Oh, of
and
course,
sharing it
yeah,
with people they
yeah,
shouldn't,
got it.
or even hackers breaking into your systems and once they've got into a system, being able to jump around. Is confidential computing useful for those sorts of use cases in Beeline?
Absolutely, yeah, of course. Um, our laws tell us that either you find a way how to collaborate or mix your data without lefting your organization perimeter or something like that, or
Yep.
you just need to write an agreement and use like flashcards or hardware things
Oh,
to
yeah.
yeah directly collaborate data using, for example, CSVs that you upload to this
That
flash
seems very
drives.
painful and not very
that, that's
secure.
that's not only painful, that's absolutely insecure. Because nobody ever will control, manage how exactly will you use this drive. Will it drive be somewhere else between point A and point B? Is this exact? And of course, when you're using the old types of data security, that of course hard drive, putting hard drive to other server, etc. The main risk that you have is a people risk. It's because mm, I'm absolutely in love with our team, and of course I know that everybody is responsible, everybody is professional, and guys we are working with are huge, high-level professionals. But mm, there are a lot of people that just want to earn some money outside, and they may uh, organize some fraudulent case
Yep.
using this
And people make
hardware
mistakes
type.
as well, right? It's not always
Absolutely.
intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course sometimes it is not intentional.
And how does confidential computing help in those cases? That's, I think, where I'm going with this.
We don't have flash drives. We don't have CSVs. We don't have people that are ordering drivers or taxis to get this hard drive to other servers. We don't have any point of data going outside of the organization. The data always only in
You
organization.
You've
Yeah.
just reduced your attack surface enormously, right? That sounds what I'm hearing. Yeah. Okay. Now that makes a huge amount of sense, and that helps you not just from your own point of view, but in terms of compliance and being able, presumably, to talk to your customers and assure them yourselves that their data is secure and it's not being misused. And do you find that customers are beginning to ask about these things? Is it something that people care about yet, or is it mainly big companies still who are most aware of this?
Let me think. We have about 30 major international FMCG brands in Kazakhstan. From these 30 brands, about 10 brands are big, high load consumers of our data solutions. And each and every of these 10 huge companies asked on almost every meeting, on almost every huge agreement, the personal data security and information security. Those are 2 points that are we discussing with marketing, with risk departments, with infosecs, with tech guys, with DevOps, with architecture, with almost everybody. I think, of course, when we are talking about our financial sector clients, banks, you cannot even enter the bank main hall without talking about information security and personal data security. Not talking about some serious meeting and implementing our scoring or other products. It's not number one priority. It's a base.
You
We
can't. Yeah,
didn't. Yeah,
it's
we
without
can
that
do.
they will know it.
Yeah,
And do
absolutely.
you think that the drive? I mean, there are a number of reasons this could be, right? One is concerns about sovereignty, which is kind of a governmental thing. Another is kind of pure regulation. And a third is reputational concerns. Companies are worried that if data leaks and people find out about it, they'll look bad. Where do you think those balance against each other?
I think when we are talking about telco companies or banks, financial sector companies, first of all, it's regulations. First of all,
Okay.
it's about licenses that they uh, need to keep to keep their business, the main core
Yeah.
business. But when we're talking about this old 300, 200 years old FMCG brand, these old companies, producing companies, uh, they speak more about reputation because the reputation losses are not only counted on their side. For example, I once was shown in exact table with numbers of, for example, how any type of PR event or news are affecting negatively or positively affecting on their
Okay.
business, and reputation losses are money losses too.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's so it's both is the answer. It's both of those things
Absolutely.
are
Yeah.
major.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about data sovereignty? I'm beginning to hear quite a lot about that as well. And not just data sovereignty, but application sovereignty. Is that something that is beginning to be important in your world or not?
It's not only beginning. For telco company, it is very important. We have a dedicated team working on that. Of course, our bank clients, of course, they have some teams or some experts who are working on that too. But I think our government still developing in this part.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the EU is working on this. The UK is working on it. Japan's working on it.
Absolutely, yeah,
Lots of different
yeah, yeah.
countries and blocks.
I
Makes
think
a
the
lot of
whole
sense.
world, yeah, works. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like,
Excellent. So let's talk maybe a bit about the future. Now, you've got all of these capabilities internally. Um, is it something that is there a way of capitalizing on that, making use of it, operating services to other folks, and how would you go about that? And who would you do it with? Because it's something you could do on your own, or do you need to use other people to work with?
okay, our main strategy is to raise our open ecosystem. We are in need of additional data partners. We need to add some retailers next year. We are planning to add consumer electronics retailers next year.
Uh-huh.
And of course, one of the main markets that we are looking for is a pharmaceutical market, drugstores, because pharmaceuticals, they have a very respectable budgets in ads and analytics,
Yeah.
and they have almost no sources of clear factual data in Kazakhstan. So
Okay.
our
And
main
then
goal,
they also have strong data privacy requirements, right?
absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Even I think even in some parts even higher than us, yeah, because of personal privacy.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, our main plan is to grow our open ecosystem, is to build additional models and additional products on this data. First of all, we have a lot of models that we are building right now. For example, that scoring graph that I was talked about, and I think that is, if we are talking only about cloud computing, that is the main goal, to have more products, we need to systemize, organize the product portfolio that we can implement like in real time when we implement our software to new data partners. For example, nowadays when we are integrating the decentralized software to our data partners, we have some hypotheses to build some products. Maybe we will monetize it like that. Maybe we will monetize it with CDP, and we have only 2 or 3
What's
solutions.
CDP? Kind of.
Customer data platform.
Like,
Yeah. Which is user interface to build your audiences, segments, to use it in
okay. Yeah.
publishers. And we need to have a organized, already built, ready to use product portfolio that we implement in data partners organization to have a momentum, to have a very fast, very quick start of monetization. We are very grateful. We really appreciate that Magnum and First Credit Bureau was the first partners, but they more believed in us. They believed in technology.
Yeah.
They believed in a future picture that we painted together. But now we have a real traction of our results, of our earnings, of our operating revenue that we are doing with these products, that we are making with these products. So I think nowadays we don't need to prove the monetization hypothesis. We just need to build very clear, very understandable products to implement this type of technology in all of the companies that we can.
Okay. And so you're extending out the reach of these capabilities, but you also have quite a lot of hardware and confidential computing infrastructure. Which are there any? I know that telco has been doing a lot of thinking about how to extend their reach and whether their services, their infrastructure could be used by other people as well. Is that something that's on your mind?
Um, if you're working with any type of personal data, if you have any CRM, if you're retail, if you're a company working with a people directly, you'll have a required hardware because it is not to maybe it sounds complicated, but it's a just simple Intel-based servers that
Uh-huh.
the Xeon can be 5 years old. It's not always 24 cores or 48 cores or
Doesn't need
terabyte
to be
or
the
yeah,
very
oh,
biggest, latest.
of
Okay,
course.
yeah.
It doesn't need to be 1 terabyte of random access memories, especially ECC registered, nothing like that. You can actually build your first collaborating system from a personal computer, from your PC, using the
Mhm.
same technology that was just built in your central processor, CPU.
So, Al, what do future plans look like? I know that AI uses GPUs. Are you doing confidential computing there? And are you looking to offer any of these services, to other people in Kazakhstan and beyond?
Um, we are building one of the biggest GPU-based data hubs, data centers in Kazakhstan called Hypercloud, where we launched it only a month ago, which is about 74 full computing units in it. Um, huge data center. So, uh, of course, we will provide this infrastructure to the market, like we will sell it to the marketer. And that was the first case when we have an permission or access to last Nvidia H100 and H200 GPUs. Because as you know, those type of GPUs are sanction list GPUs. You know what you can do with those GPUs and with AI based on that. And Kazakhstan could be a questionable choice of the country provided with hundreds and hundreds of GPUs. So we had an direct agreement with the US and with Nvidia to even buy these GPUs. So our future plans is to more develop to AI cloud computing, to have GPU based, and to maybe not only build the let me say by my words, cheap and fast, easily implementing technology like Intel SGX, because almost every big organization in Kazakhstan, every big data partner already have some SGXs to use. But for most innovative products, we are planning to go to GPU-based cloud computing.
Okay, and presumably the newer Intel TDX and maybe the AMD, all of the future things as they come along. Okay, so you're well positioned with
Absolutely.
that, with the GPU work particularly. And who are you partnering with in terms of these cloud services around GPUs?
Now, of course, we are partnering with one of the most innovative, the strongest team. That part of this team already helped us with building the other solutions that we have. It's a super team, a team of super protocol.
Oh, excellent. And what do they provide? Well, what do they? I mean, presume well the hardware we've already talked about is coming from an Nvidia and Intel and folks. Where does Super come in? What are the skills and the infrastructure that they help you with?
Um, we're still in process of planning our next steps with the team. Now we are on a part of working on strategy, because we have enormous hardware resources right here. We have enormous reputation with working with other data partners. So we understand that we need to move very fast because of the market,
Yep,
because of the whole
of
of the
course.
yeah. And I think nowadays, for today, I cannot share the huge news, but in some time we will share it publicly.
So, who are you working with in terms of providing? You've got the hardware, obviously, and you've got lots of expertise about how to get it out to people. Where is Super Protocol helping you? Where's the team provide skills there?
Um, in our future data strategy, that based on newer technologies that we are using right now, the Super Protocol is one of the main software vendors, so software provider, because our goal is to build not only most secured. We know
Uh huh.
exactly that Super Protocol are absolutely best guys in the world working with that, but the most effective in, for example, advertising market, the most effective in analytics, the products that can give fast implementation, quick results, and as to me, the low resource base.
Sure. So they're providing the software infrastructure layer on top of that hardware, and then you have the customers who are in need of this of these services, and so that's how it looks
Absolutely.
like it's
It's
working.
like a software engine that every other parts of car works on.
I love that. That's really helpful way of looking at it. So clearly, Veon and Beeline have at least a three-pronged strategy. Firstly, using confidential computing for internal things. Secondly, for working with partners, using the data that you've created, but also enabling other capabilities which customers can come and use themselves. Uh, is that the approach you're taking? Have I missed anything out? Where does that take you down the line?
Actually, you didn't miss anything important. Of course, first of all, the big data by itself was firstly used in, for example, Beeline Kazakhstan only for internal goals, for CVM goals, uh, I'm sorry, customer value management goals and value
Thank
proposition
you, thank
goals.
you,
Yeah,
Al. Yeah.
goals. Or, in my words, how to make the net promoter score higher, how to make the satisfaction of our services, of our
Mm,
telcos higher. And only after the CVM, we build it our external data monetization. So I think you, of course, included everything, and our internal team will continue working on our internal cases, internal KPIs such as
of
net
course.
promoter score, customer lifetime value, etc. And we will work with data monetization as we do now.
So we've got this confidential AI cloud with capabilities that you can offer not just internally and partners, but elsewhere. Um, Anything else coming up that looks interesting that we should know about?
Of course, we invest in hardware so much in Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and other countries of Veon Group, not only because we like hardware, but it's one of the main reasons, but not the most important one.
You're a hardware guy.
Um,
You can like hardware. That's a
of
good enough
course,
reason.
of course, of course. Let me overclock your H200. Yeah, the main reason is we have an idea modeling into a strategy next year
Hmm.
uh, to build an AI and machine learning and deep learning models marketplace using our collaboration data of
Hmm.
external data partners uh, to anyone, developers, small organization, big organization, can not only use our existing products, for example, collaboration data platform, customer data platforms, but build themselves on the base of our products, and of course to have their products listed on this marketplace, which is I think will be the first case of AI and model decentralized marketplace in Kazakhstan.
There's a whole bunch of things going on there, right? So you're saying,
Yeah.
firstly, you can provide the hardware to run it on, but also the software to bring that together in a decentralized way, and the models, and then you can build your own businesses around that, or your own models and whatever you need out of that. Am I getting that right?
You're getting it
Lots.
absolutely right. You can enrich, for example, your apps, your credit processes with this model, or you can take this model, take the real data, as you remember, the data are all on the data partner side.
Uh-huh.
Take this data and, of course, to train your models on real data sets.
But you don't. But presumably, because you're using confidential computing, the end user doesn't actually get to play with that first data, the training data. The data sets are actually kept safe from the end user because they're never released outside because they're kept isolated using confidential. That's a really nice use case, I have to say. You're enabling things whilst using the capabilities to ensure that the original owners of the data don't have that data at risk, and that the I guess if there's people private data associated with that, that is not leaked as well.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a really
absolutely.
really interesting use case. Thank you, Al. So you're building a confidential AI cloud. Basically, it's a cloud that other people can use, you can use, your ecosystem can use. It's usable. I mean, not just for AI, but because you've got this GPU capability, it's absolutely useful for that as well. And you've got that should satisfy regulators, customers, and partners. All the privacy preserving things you care about, the verifiability, it all fits together. So that's fantastic. One thing I really like to do is ask my guests a particular question, which is, what skills do you think someone in 2 to 5 years needs to have? What should they be to be getting ready to do? Because we know everything's changing, but if you were talking to you in 2 to 5 years, what would you hope you'd be able to learn, or to people who are coming after you?
It's a hard one, Mike. It's a real hard one because of the speed of changes are, I think, only going higher and higher day by day. Um, I think 2 weeks ago or 1 week ago, I was presenting some pitch on our students boot camp in Almaty, Beeline, Kazakhstan, Kaskod boot camp. There was great, absolutely great students. Uh, most of them were engineering students. For example, future data scientists, data engineers, data analytics. Of course, they went through to my lecture not because they just like data; they studied it. Um, I think I had 6 questions about how do you think, Alisher, what will be still okay in 5 years and 3 years, what set of skills, etc. And actually, it's a one of the hardest questions that I have right now. I know that soft skills very important. I know that communication skills are very important. That psychology is a good way to find the answers to people's mind, to people's heart, maybe sometimes. But um, as I am a bit more techie guy, I say critical thinking and engineering skills, any type of engineering skills. Um, exactly. Maybe you are more like developer. Maybe you're a hardware engineer. It doesn't matter. The base of good engineering school that are providing you with high critical thinking, high knowledge, and first of all, the skill of working with information is the best way. And actually, I am now thinking to have my engineering degree.
Cool. Excellent. Well, thank you very much indeed. So there's one other thing I like to ask my guests, Al, which is a slightly weird one because we've never met in person, right? And we've been talking, had a very good chat, but I am very aware that deep fakes are a real issue these days, right? And I like to be sure for me and for our listeners and viewers that you are hopefully a real person, right? So what I like to do is I like to ask my guests a question. It's a different question every time, and I want you to answer in a way which hopefully will convince me that you're a human, right? And so here's the question that I'm going to ask you. Behind me, you see a door. What I want you to convince me is that whether that is a real door or just a pretend door, please.
Exactly about this door. First of all, I see the reflections of your lamp, and I see that it's a straight light in the glass of your door. Of course, I see details of the wood by itself, the round detail. You know how to say it in English, and that's
Knots, they're
about
called knots in English.
knots. Yeah, yeah, absolutely knots. And uh, I managed to build some pictures with AI. So the golden, how to say, the thing near your door, right behind you, the in the black frame.
The
Other
Fibonacci sequence.
Fibonacci, absolutely. Yeah. I there are some problems to AI to build the perfect Fibonacci sequence. Yeah.
Okay, so if I open that, if I go to that door and I open it, will I be able to go through it, or is it a pretend door? Do you think?
Let me check. Could you move your hand a bit or shake your hand? I have some questions about those silver marks that are under your door handle. Um, when you're shaking your hand, you have a light under your door. That's a tricky one. That's a tricky one.
Okay,
S-
you're asking the right questions in a way which makes me think you're probably human. I don't need a real answer. I'm gonna make it easy for you though. It's a real door. It's a real door. So I'm pretty convinced that you're human. So that's great. Thank you very much, Al, for your time. It's been lots of fun, lots of things as well. So thank you for appearing on Confidentially Yours.